and truly. Uh, what it will do, it will make your system lag, and then you'll see you move just a little bit every now and then, but your voice will come through clear, but your video will be sketchy.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right, we are live with Lee from the Panhandle of Florida, up in Northwest Florida. And I encountered Lee by accident one day. I was just going through YouTube, and I was searching actually for there's a park up in Northwest Florida called the Garden of Eden, and they call it that because there's actually a boxwood tree that's mentioned in the Bible. Kind of a rare tree. In fact, it's very rare in the United States apparently, but there is supposedly one in that park. So for almost a century they've called this area the Garden of Eden. And looking around for videos, I found some of Lee's hundreds of videos where he has his own Garden of Eden up in Northwest Florida. And the first videos I found were him kind of giving a little guided tour around his acreage and picking berries from his trees and talking a little bit about what he was growing up there. And it was under, as I recall, it was the screen name for your YouTube was Huckleberry 69. Was that it, Lee?
Oh yes, but I've moved on from that one because YouTube was pretty much canceling me out on that thing. So I'm rewired 69 now.
Okay.
I posted 500 videos, I believe, on that one now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't pay attention to how many were on. So you had quite a few on the original Huckleberry 69 one. So you got an equal amount or more on the rewired 69, right?
Right, that's correct.
Okay. And yeah, it was just remarkable to have so many to begin with, so many hundreds of videos, and it's just basically showing your life around the around your property there and fixing things and growing things. How did you get the I guess nickname Huckleberry? Is that just for YouTube, or are you called that around there as well?
Pretty much, yes. Everybody called me Huckleberry. That had followed me for years, for a very long time. Matter of fact, when I was in Alabama, I spent 17 years in Alabama, and yeah, I happen to like, well, Tom Sawyer. You know, that's pretty good
Okay,
stuff.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking it had something to do with actual berries, but it's more with the Tom Sawyer stories, huh?
Right.
Huckleberry
Yeah.
Finn.
Yes, I was a Clemens fan for a very long time. I read books when I was a child. I wasn't allowed to watch TV or anything like that, so that's what I got to read.
Oh wow. Yeah, so you're all up to speed with the adventures of Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer and what was his girlfriend's name?
Oh Lord,
I can't remember. Is
Catfish Annie?
Becky Thatcher? Was that it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's been a long time since I read those stories. It must be 50 years since I read that story. I'm amazed I can even remember that name.
Yeah.
Mark Twain. Yeah. Okay. Now tell me how you got to that farm in Florida, and what was the condition when you got there, and what have you been trying to do? I guess you've been there for a couple of years now.
But this is going on my second year now, and well, I went to North Dakota really and truly, and worked up in Minot, and the storms up there are just unbelievable. Well, when they talk about snow, it's a blizzard, and it's costly to live up there. So once that blizzard hit and I got a break, I just took off and left because it was just too expensive and I wasn't getting enough hours of work there. So I came back to Florida. And in the 80s, I had built half of Florida in Orlando. A lot of apartments and condominiums and homes, really. And a lot of all around Florida. Kissimmee, New Smyrna, Jacksonville, all that. And I like Florida. Florida is a beautiful place.
And then you got into living there in the Panhandle on some acreage, and from what I understand from the videos, there was a lot of fruit trees and orchards, and they were not in such great shape. And so, what did you start doing?
Oh yes, when we found this place and it was in dilapidation. It was just a jungle, and I literally, me and my wife, we cut our way through this place here. It was overgrown, and when I say I cut a bush and found a house, that's true. I cut a bush and I found a house, and well, I talked to the guy, and we just made deals. Is what we did. I love it here.
And did you have to remodel the house or rebuild it, or what kind of condition was the house in? Because it looks pretty good shape now.
Well, it was in fairly rugged condition, and we're still dealing with it right now, seeing how it's with finances and everything are going. But the house it's got a new roof, and well, I need to fix the front bathroom. But other than that, we love it here. It's like living in the country, and well, I am from the country. You just would not believe. I come off of a 300 something acre cattle farm in Texas. And
Oh wow! Yeah, so you had a lot of experience with raising cattle. Have you had any experience with growing stuff?
oh yes, my granddad and grandmother, they garden. We had the biggest garden that you imagine. Everything that you can believe of would be in that garden. I'm talking about squash, zucchinis, uh, beets, carrots. Well, she didn't grow too many carrots, but and then the blackberries. But we had watermelons. Everything that would go on the table, we had. And believe it or not, raising cows, we didn't eat too much meat. We were chicken eaters.
Uh
We ate
huh.
a lot of chicken, that and catfish and bass. That was a really good thing because the beef was marketable stuff that we took to market.
Yeah, Lee, let me play one of your videos that I found. This is in your kitchen apparently, and a bunch of berries and stuff, and just to show folks what kind of intrigued me, because it's kind of like a natural living type deal, and eating some healthy food and growing your own food. And it was just very intriguing to me. So let me go ahead and play this, and you can talk over this if you want. There is a little bit of sound on it, and I'll try to see if we can pick up the sound as I play this. Let me see if I can get this picture better. Whoops. Okay, now I think it's going to play.
It's clear as bell. There's my laptop.
Tell them a little story about my blueberries.
This here was our first year here, and actually that was just
This
a
here's magic.
small crop picking.
A little bit of mix every time. I have to separate them. This here's going to be my mixed berries, blueberries for mixed berry pie. I need to separate these. Got blackberries in there. I'm going to have just a
My
blackberry.
first year, we pulled out well over 100 gallons, and that was with everything being overgrown. We just fought our way through there, and well, weeded it out, and
This is like what I did
it's
last time.
unbelievable how it's changed. They're already now starting to produce.
This is how it goes.
But that's all straight out of the garden right there. We have our apples and we have our pears, and now we've got peaches and plums and
I'm also going to do a
grapefruit.
bunch of stuff. So y'all just
So
hang
it's
out, chill,
virtual garden Eden. Plus, I haven't gotten the ground yet because last year when I put it in the ground,
This
it
is not
we had a freeze and it just killed
$100,000 home,
everything. So I'm waiting 2 more weeks, and we'll be in the ground with all our garden.
think with stainless steel, beautiful walnut or mahogany cabinets, etc., etc. This here this is it. And this is the way it was done back in the old days. You
Yeah.
just cooked. You didn't didn't have to have everything in the world. I mean, I hope that the people that are watching this are just like me. They have the same situation because you don't have to have expensive stuff just to be, well, live good and eat and be healthy.
That's true. You don't need to.
Amenities are nice.
It's an expense if you go to a grocery store, but if you learn how to cultivate, you'll find that it's a lot better living.
Yeah, and you must have oodles of fruit remaining off of this tree. About how many fruit trees do you have up there?
Okay, I counted them up yesterday. I've got well over 30 blueberry plants, and that's the very large ones. And then I have the mediums, and then the cooking ones, which are little tiny ones for like muffins, stuff like that. And I've got 8 apple trees that's right out my back door over here, along with 4 pear trees, and we just planted another, and this just about 3 weeks ago, we just planted another 6 orange trees and 4 peaches, and we got 2 grapefruits, and my wife, she loves kumquats, so we got some kumquats going there too. And well, we hadn't got the ground yet, and I've got a whole living room full of, it's a forest of just green stuff I'm ready to put in the ground, and that's going to be tomatoes, bell peppers, sweet potatoes, beets, cantaloupes, everything from A to Z that would be grown is what I am growing. And we even grew peanuts, believe it or not.
Wow. Now, with all the variety of things that you're growing, the fruits and vegetables, could you live entirely on just what you're growing, or would you still have to go to the store for certain things?
Oh, and when it starts coming up out of the ground, my previous home, and that's why we left there, was because EUCA said I put well over 5 swimming pools in 1 month on my garden. We lived off that garden, and we're going to do it again this year. And I'm fixing it to where I can support about 5 families, 6 families, which if you count them up, if you threw in 5 children with each one of those families, which most people don't have 5 children anymore, it's about 30 to 40 people I'd be able to feed is what I'm doing now. Because I'm preparing for the end of the economy.
Now, the last time I talked with you, you had mentioned something about that you were trying to see if you could get some folks to come there and live on the property and do some farming and stuff. You still got that in the back of your mind to do that?
Oh yes. When right now, what I'd like to do is meet those who are preppers that would like to, come cultivate, and when they put their time in and all that, and I know that a lot of folks don't like living in the country, and they like the city life, and well, some of them are just pretty much trapped either in a condominium or in an apartment. But if they're willing to cultivate and all that, they can come here when the economy falls apart, because it's going to be a very difficult situation for people to eat. It's just imagine if the fuel situation gets so high that your groceries are going to skyrocket. You won't be able to feed yourself, and then you're going to have to deal with the fact that there's a lot of other folks around there that's going to be hungry too. So you got to guard everything. And well, I'm setting it up. I got an RV and everything set up there. And next week, I'm hoping I put catfish in, and I've already set the back up now. I've got my shrimp tank set up in the very back, and well, I'm looking to put some more tilapia on a couple of runs that I've got out there. I've got a little right at 7 acres that I'm working with, and 5 pumps that I'm pulling water out of the ground. And yeah, if people will come and work and cultivate, I'm not looking for a lot of finances or anything like that. But if they can't work and cultivate, well, they can help out financially, and then they have a place to go to if something seriously was to happen to the economy. And a lot of folks are going to have somewhere to go, because the city's not going to be the place to be.
Now, with all the fruits and vegetables you have and the plans to do the fish farming, how will you store these or preserve the excess of your harvest? How do you do that?
Well, you do preserving, and right now, whatever I'm harvesting now, it's going to come off the trees and off my blueberry bushes and things like that. I'm going to take those to market. I'm not going to let them ruin. I'm going to take them to market. We have deep freezers where we're going to freeze everything, and I have generators. So if the power or anything shuts down, I have power. It's just the way that is. And I'm working on getting it's a hydrogen generator is what it is, and believe it or not, you can run a vehicle off of water, and that's true. And I'm really not going to be looking to run a vehicle. I just want to run my little generator so that we have power for to pull water out of the ground and a little bit of cooking, and the rest of it, if something was seriously to happen, we'll just dress warm and learn to live off the grid. But you'll be close to a lot of folks.
And where do you get a hydrogen generator? Is that something new, or are they on the market that you can just go down and buy one somewhere?
Well, you can't buy it local, and what you're going to deal with is, unless you have a local inventor, someone that's not with the government or anything, because the government doesn't want you to generate hydrogen. They want you to buy petrol. That's what they want. But hydrogen is real simple. It's an electrolysis process, and I don't have the means to make it myself. But if you get online and look around on eBay, you can find people that's already making these things, and they've been out for years. Lord, I would say ever since 1970, when Myers did his thing. He drove a VW across the United States on water, believe that or not.
And how do you fuel a hydrogen generator? What do you use?
Well, you just use water, really and truly, and you need to have something to kick start your little generator off, and which would be, I'm going to have enough fuel to be able, it only takes about a quart to get you started, and that's really too much. You just pour the gasoline, get your generator started, and then you turn your hydrogen machine on, which is, it'll start the electrolysis process of producing hydrogen. And I'm looking for one that I can get right at 10 liters a minute, because, well, that'll run a vehicle, no problem. And I'm only going to be running small engines. And if you look around on YouTube, you'll find that there's people out there that's already doing this. It's a very popular thing. It's just, it's not promoted.
And how do you have to modify internal combustion engines to run on the hydrogen? Is it a big job?
Well, really, truly, they have an injector where you just poke it in through your intake, and it'll, once it starts generating the hydrogen and it starts pumping it in through your intake, it starts running off of it. Of course, now you have to buy a few other parts for your vehicle, which would be map valves and things like that. You have to tell your engine that it's not running too much rich and it's not getting too much fuel. That's why I don't want to fool with a car, really and truly, because there's too much of a process in it. But if you use like small engines like Briggs and Stratton's, Honda, or anything like that, you don't have to have all those things. Just give it the hydrogen and it will run. Hydrogen burns clean.
Do you have to have like a pressurized tank to hold the hydrogen? How's that?
Oh,
how do you do that?
oh Lord, no! You don't want to capture this stuff. I mean, I swear, if you capture it, you're making a bomb, and it's very dangerous. You just want it on demand, where once you get it started, it produces the hydrogen, but you do not capture it. If you capture it and try to store it, you have a bomb.
Oh, so the engine itself is producing its own hydrogen, and then it's just burning that off. Is that how that's working?
Right, pretty much. You have, we call them dry cells, and they're put on the vehicle somewhere in the engine compartment, and it has a water reservoir with, there's a lot of things that goes with it, but it's not that expensive. It's like you get a bubbler, you get a flash suppressor, a PWM or a PVM, and then your hydrogen machine. And just really hard to explain. I would like, people to get on the internet and start looking around and just search out HHO dry cell, and you can even do that on YouTube, and you will find that it's everywhere. People are learning that petro is just a thing of the past, really and truly. It's what the government wants to sell us, and we're controlled by the government, the auto industry, and the petrol industry. That's the truth. And
we're talking today with Lee, who lives up in Northwest Florida and doing some farming for vegetables, and got a bunch of fruit trees. And got another video here. This was taken off of Lee's original YouTube site, which was Huckleberry 69. And this is something about baking pies or something. But I was just looking at it, and maybe you can maybe give some explanation of what it's about here, if I can get it going here. This is Lee's YouTube video.
Oh yeah, this is our first year. These are fresh apples right here that I've grown. That is nothing compared to what I pulled off the trees. It's unreal. I tried to give a lot of it away, but folks just really weren't interested, and I'm not understanding that. They just prefer going to the grocery store. But everything that we have here that you're seeing is straight from the ground to the table, and there's no GMO products, there's no chemicals, there's absolutely nothing, but it's all natural.
What would you like to use, baby?
This is my woman. We was just getting really into making the videos for doing the cooking things. We've seen a few on there, and we decided that we put ours out there and show that you can do it without going to the grocery store if you just cultivate.
Instead of all mixed up with the gel and just hold on. Alright, let's get the good stuff out of the room. I bet y'all just smoked it.
And we picked well over 100 gallons of blueberries. That's for sure. And probably about 40 or 50 bushels of apples. And that was when the garden was just overrun. It was dilapidated, and I was amazed that we got that many off of them. And sometime today I'll go outside and I'll start doing some more videos and post what it really looks like out here now.
We eat these every day.
Those are the best things in the world for you, by the way.
The little ones and the big ones separated.
Healthy.
That's a mess. That's a whole mess. There's one down there in the tray, fella.
I was giving her a hard time.
That was a casualty. Okay. Well, all right, Missy. We'll sit here for a moment, and then I'll take a break and wait for you to decide exactly how you're going to cook, what you're going to cook, and when you're going to cook, if you're going to cook at all.
I am.
All right. Works for me.
Yeah.
And that's Lee making some pies up there. Looks like some apples and a bunch of berries there. Kind of made me hungry.
That's good stuff. Believe it or not, blueberries are one of the best things in the world for you. And it's unreal what they sell for at the grocery store. They're at like $4.98 a pint. And that's expensive. I'm getting them free and loving them, and I eat them every day.
Yeah, when is the blueberry season up there?
Well, right now it's just starting off, really and truly. It's they're all starting to produce the berries now. So you have some that come in, and like right now, and then another month from now, my other smaller ones, the medium size, they'll come in, and then along with my cooking ones, the very, very small ones for like muffins, they'll be in. So it's almost like a cycle where I'm never going to be ending until wintertime. Now, when winter times, I'm missing them.
Now, in the winter time, do the grocery stores get those berries from California or somewhere else, or is there someplace?
They're getting them from the Northwest over in California and well, Montana. I don't believe Montana's been growing a lot. That's a big beef industry area right there, but most of it's coming from California. Just like along with your oranges and well, now your lettuces and things like that can be grown indoors and in very large cultivating areas, and a lot of people are going that way too. And they're using this. It's called aquaponics, and how they do that is, well, they raise fish, and then you got tilapia and catfish and shrimp, and they'll raise those, and in the process, they'll also grow a garden on the inside of a building, which you can grow onions, lettuces, and any type of green like that. But if it has to have a lot of sun, you can't grow it really and truly on the indoors. That's where a lot of it's coming from, is from the California area.
And will you be selling some of your stuff at farmers markets to make a little extra money and use the excess?
Oh yes, it's going to go to the farmers market. Plus, we'll set up on the side of the road with our shrimp and fish. We'll put those on the side of the road and sell those when they come in production.
Well, it sounds like a fun lifestyle up there, Lee. Kind of envious. I know it's a lot of work. How many hours a day you suppose you have to spend to take care of all this harvesting and planning and all the various activities you have involved?
Well, that is pretty much an all-day job, and we start somewhere around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. You know, we get up and have our coffee and our breakfast, and then plan our day. And it's going out, and you have to pull grass, or you have to chase bugs, or get another plot ready. You know, it's just an all-day thing. It's something that you enjoy. You have to enjoy being outside, playing in the dirt, and just enjoy what you reap. You get it. It will pay off for you.
Well, it seems like it's keeping you in good shape. You don't seem to be overweight like most Americans nowadays.
Oh, it's good stuff. I swear it was. And believe it or not, those blueberries saved me last year. They really and truly, they saved me. They changed. Well, I was having some severe problems, and really don't want to talk about it, but they saved me. And they'll get rid of a headache, any kind of aches that you have. Really and truly, they're antioxidants. What they detox your body, just completely clean you out.
Yeah, I think everybody says that blueberries are one of the more healthful foods. You get a lot of nutrition for the amount of berries that you can eat out of those things, including, like you say, those antioxidants. All right, well, let me wrap this up for today, Lee. We've been talking with Lee up in Northwest Florida, doing some farming and starting to get into some fish farming. Got a lot of fruits and orchards, and he's looking for somebody who might want to come up there and do a little bit of farming with him and enjoy a little bit of a rural type lifestyle, but not far away from the city. So you're close to everything, but still have a kind of a rural lifestyle.
That's correct.
Well, thank you once again. This is the second time I've talked with Lee and enjoy it. And everybody can look at his hundreds of videos at, what was it, Rewind 69 on YouTube?
Rewired 69.
Rewired. Okay,
right.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I was listening to some podcasts, old radio programs today, and they were called a Rewind, so I had a rewind in my mind. But Lee's site is Rewired. Does that have any reference to anything?
Well, that's because everything that I do, I have to fix, and that's no joke. I was a carpenter at one time, and well, construction fell apart, so I lived on a farm, and I learned how to work on lawnmowers and well, all types of machinery, and well, I just rewire it, make it work.
Rewired life. Okay, that was Simply Florida Living with Lee, and we'll see you the next time.